Today we're going to make market bags with a twist, of course. So I've got this little market bag which goes inside kind of a wallet. You can keep it in your glove box, you can keep it in that little side pocket in your car, and you always have a bag to take with you anytime you're going any kind of shopping. This happens to be inside its own attached little kind of, I don't know, I guess you would call it wallet compartment. So it's attached on here and it creates a pocket for the bag. It's like the coolest and easiest thing to do, easy to sew, beginner friendly. You need some webbing for the handles. You can use 1 inch or 1.5 inch. This is cotton webbing. I get it on Amazon. I've got 2 pieces cut at 19 by 18. So 19 wide, 18 high is what you're going to want to do that at. We're going to be boxing out the corners at a 3-inch. So that'll give us a 6-inch base for our bag. And we are going to do a French seam finish, and that is going to hide all of your seams. So you don't have to do any decorative stitching, serging, pinking shears. None of that is needed. You're going to love this one. First thing we're going to do is stitch down. You're going to go wrong sides together and you're going to stitch down the side of your bag. I'm going to do this at right about 1/4 inch. We're going to back stitch. Now that you have both of your sides, wrong sides together, sewn on the side, you're going to turn this inside out, and we are going to stitch right along that seam at just a little over 1/4 inch. I do think it is best to press this, so I'm going to go over and press it. We have our seams pressed. You can see they're really nice and tight. I've made sure that I've got this rolled out as far as I can. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go back over this, right sides together, and we're going to do this at a good, I don't know, between 1/4 inch and 1/2 inch. You want to get a good size seam so that it's nice and you don't catch any of that inside. It's really important to get enough that you don't catch or have any of the inside seam come through. And then we're going to back stitch. Now what we're going to do is sew up our bottoms. This is going to be our bottom, and we're going to go at 1/2 inch on our bottom here. And we're going to take our ruler. We're going to box out our corner. We're going to do it. I'm going to do it from the inside of the seam because that way I know at 3 inches I've got it exactly the same for both, if you know what I mean. So if you're going by the seam, the square will be lined up with your seam, and that is going to give us the best box. Okay. Because if you go from the outside, we've got different seam sizes here, and it will just not really be easy to work with. So best to go from the inside of that seam. We're not going to be cutting these. We're simply going to draw these on, and I'm going to show you how you can use this seam, boxed corner, or whatever you want to call it, to get a nice look on the inside of your bag. This is a market bag. It does not need to be lined. It just doesn't need it. Okay, so now we're going to reach in here and we are going to square this off. You're going to line up your seams. They're going to go in opposite directions, so you'll feel them nest up against each other. And you're going to stitch across here. And then I do like to reinforce it just feel like it's never a bad thing. It's a market bag. It's going to get a lot of love. So I'm going to go really close to that seam, about 1/8 of an inch. I'm not going to cut this. I am not boxing this out. I'm going to keep it fully engaged and attached. All right, and we're going to do the same thing over here. Now, what I like to do here is I actually like to put it across the bottom to kind of hold it in place. So we're going to turn this right side out again and line up your seams. And then you're just going to stitch down that. And I'll show you here in just a second what that looks like. So here's what I wanted you to see. On the inside of our bag, down on the base, the bottom of the bag, we've stitched this down. I'm probably going to go ahead and just do a triangle around it to really hold it in place. But what I did was I stitched all the way up the whole seam so that you can see now it lays flat and everything is hidden. You don't need a lining. You don't have any raw edges. You don't need pinking shears. You don't need a zigzag stitch. It really is the best way, easiest to do for finishing one layer and not having a lining, okay? So you can decide if you want to go in and do your little triangle on the bottom. I may not, but for this, I'm not going to. We're going to move along and I'm going to sew up this other one and stitch it down. I just wanted you to be able to see that there are options and ways to finish bags. Not all bags need a lining. This is a market bag. It just needs to be lightweight and durable, and that's it. So now you kind of got a reinforced bottom. You've got your side seam that is stitched. It's flat on the inside. There's nothing that looks unfinished or unkept. Now you're going to turn your bag inside out again. It's a lot of inside, right side. And then we're going to take our side seam and give or take, go about 1 inch down. And you're just looking to get about 1 inch on here. You can absolutely iron it. And if you want to measure, you can measure. I'm doing a guesstimate. To measure, I do recommend one of these tools. Slides up, you put it at about 1 inch, and then you kind of walk it from the bottom and you can kind of push up and see that you're at 1 inch, give or take, pretty darn close. And I'm all right with where that is. I'm going to finger press. I'm going to look at this side. Not quite as good. So I'm going to take that down a little bit. And look at this side here. Give it a little bit more of a rollover. It's about halfway in between. And then we're going to roll that over one more time. So we've got 2 inches that we're basically rolling over from the top. And then we're going to put our webbing in here. Pink that I already have cut out. These go at 25. So we're going to do this nice little pink here. Let's do 9 inches is the middle. And I'm going to mark that. And then we're going to go out, I'm going to go out 2.5, 1, 2.5. And that's going to give us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Perfect. I'm going to go over. We're going to pin that. And then the biggest thing when you go to do the other side is you just want to make sure that you don't have it twisted. You don't have your webbing twisted in any way. Okay, then we're just gonna flip it over. Do the same thing on the other side. The next thing you're gonna do is stitch around. We're gonna stitch twice. We're gonna go at somewhere between a fourth and an eighth of an inch on the bottom, and then about the same on the top. Just use the same distance. My foot is right about a quarter of an inch, not quite, and I use just the side of that to make it work. And then you are basically done. I like to stitch from the inside of the bag, and I'm going to turn it right side out and stitch from the inside. I also like to start on a seam. All right, we have our threads out to the side, and we are going to start a couple of stitches back, 2.5. And this is so it'll hold. And we're going to go ahead, get everything kind of straightened out. And just so you can kind of see, I go a little extra where this is going to be. We're going to do the same thing as we go around it again. No more pins in it this time. And we're just going to start right here. We're going to do the opposite. We're going to run on this side of the foot. And the only reason I'm doing that is because I know mine's a quarter of an inch. We're going to hold our little strings out to the side. Go about 3 stitches, back stitch. And there you go. You have your very simple, very easy, no edges, no raw seams. You learned how to do a French seam today. That is a great market bag. You've got plenty of room, lots of arm space. I've got a sweatshirt on, good amount, and you are good to go. You have no raw edges whatsoever. It's a great one. Let's put a pocket on this thing. What you're going to do to create your pocket is you want to get about, I don't know, I think I cut this at 10 inches. So 10 by 11, I'd probably go 10 by 12, give yourself a little bit of wiggle room. We're going to, you could round your corners. Okay, so if you want to round your corners, don't need to overthink it. You're just going to grab your little and round your corner. So you just fold it in half, and then you got your little rounded corner there. Perfect. All right, let's line up our bottoms here. But we're going to do it right sides together. So 1/4 of an inch. Going to back stitch. We got about 2 inches to turn it out. We're going to cut off our corners. We're going to trim around these. We're just going to like do these little snips about 1/4 of an inch apart. Don't cut your threads. We are going to turn this. This is also going to be the top of the pocket. So we're going to finish this off with a little stitch. The rest of it, we're going to stitch when it's on the bag. All right, so we're going to go across here. We're going to back stitch. And I'm doing this about 1/8 of an inch. This closes off our bag, finishes off the top of the pocket. All right, lift that up. So cute. Okay, so now we're going to take our bag. So this is the one we just did. I'm just looking for the basic center. Oh, we still have our mark on there because I didn't iron it. Yes, look at that. It's right about where we put our mark. And then we're going to take and fold this. Probably should iron this. Just saying, if you want a nice solid edge. Okay, now we've got the center here. We're going to go down about, what, an inch, inch and a half. So from the top, it's about 2 inches from the top is kind of what we're looking at. We've got our center lined up with our center. Again, you can use your handy dandy little tool, measure your center. What's that? Oh man, that's like right at 2 inches. I love it when that happens. So something you do want to think about is you're going to have your fold over. And I'm going to say you're going to want that at about, I'm thinking about 3 inches. Might even be good, 3 1/4. Yeah, 3 1/4. We're going to mark that at about 3 1/4. What you're going to want to do here is just stitch across. And that's just going to be my stitch across line. That's where I'm going to stop. So I'm going to stitch across here. This is going to always be loose and kind of like a flap. We're going to turn this. Let me get my little measuring thing. We're going to turn this right inside out. It is right side out. We're just going to start on one side of our bag. We're going to stitch all the way down, and we're going to do it at 1/4 of an inch, maybe a little less than 1/4 of an inch. Okay, we stitched around our pocket. We have it on. Now we've got to do a little fold up and figure out where we want to put the cam snaps. So you turn it over backwards and you're just going to fold it in on itself. And that's how you kind of get it in here. Just fold it over, flip this up, and then you're going to fold this one up, and this comes over, and that is where you're going to place your, I'm going to take this up just a little bit more, and then you're going to put your cam snap in there, and you've got it all put together. Okay, I'm going to take my stiletto, and I am going to, give or take, find the middle, which is right about here. And I'm gonna just kind of push that in and find it on the inside of the pocket. Give that a little push through. Give this a little push through. Here's what we've got for cam snaps. It's KAM. If you're not familiar, they are super easy to work with. They come in a ton of colors. I love them. I've had this forever and I haven't used them up. I don't use them all the time. I think I'm going to go with the pink because we used pink for our strap. And you need 4 pieces. 2 of the caps with the little pointy thing. You need one that has the, what they call the stud. That's what it looks like. And then one that is the socket. And that's what that looks like. And that's what you need, 4. And then on the outside, you always want your smooth caps for the top piece. So we're going to do our smooth cap on the outside. We're going to put our stud on the top. And then the little tool that they give you is kind of concaved there. You're going to slip the cap in there. And then you're just going to squeeze it and release. And you can kind of see it smashes that little cap down, the little point. Now on this piece, you want to do the smooth side on the inside of the pocket. So you're going to find that little hole you made with your stiletto and put the other piece on there. I believe that one was called the socket. And you just slide that smooth cap again into that little section. Let me make sure I got it in there. And then you're gonna press down and should be good to go. All right. So now you've got your bag all folded up in there and you're going to snap that down. Give it a little wiggle. And you've got this awesome little envelope for your market bag. So easy. I'm Cassie. This is 62 Handcrafted. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.